What's up, party people? I'm going to be doing an updated DJ edit tutorial using both the traditional method and the stems method because I know that's hot with the kids right now. So the track I'm going to be using is Loleatta Holloway and Louie Vega, Can't Let You Go, because it's an 11-minute track and there's a lot to use. So you're going to drag it into your DAW. Make sure it's all lined up. The next step is that we would divvy it up and put markers where we want to edit. I've already done that in another session, so I'm going to swap over to that. So here's the track cut up into sections. I've named them and I've added locators which allow you to jump to any part by clicking on it. So if I'm at the intro, I can click here, or here.
Coming back for more. I can't let you go.
And what that's good for is getting a quick on-the-fly idea about different arrangements before you actually do any moving. Once you get in the habit of editing, you likely won't need to do any of these steps, but in the beginning, it helps to get a feel for the process. The first thing is thinking about what kind of edit you want. Do you want to make it shorter? Do you want to take out parts, repeat parts, or add an intro or an outro? For the track, even though it's 11 minutes, it starts with music and vocals, and for me, I like a drum-only intro. So fortunately, we can take the beats from the end of this mix and bring them to the beginning. We do that by selecting the amount of time we want to add and click Command-I, which is the insert silence command. So we're going to go here, Command-I, and as you can see, it added this space and shifted everything over. Now what we're going to do is go to this beats, hit Command-C, which is copy, go back to the beginning, hit Command-V, which is paste, and if you want a longer intro, you can do that by inserting more silence and pasting the beats again. Now you can go in and edit, like listening to the beats, like it has that fill in the middle that I don't really need. So I'm going to take this part by hitting copy and then hit V to paste. So it just makes it a little smoother. So now we need to check and make sure that the parts that we added flow into the next one. So nice, worked out great. Now once you have the intro you want, you need to figure out what comes next. I like the original intro in this, but I want the verse to come in sooner. So I can test how that will sound by clicking on this intro part. And then we're going to click on the verse. Cool, so we want to get rid of this entire part right here. So we hit Shift, Command X, and it got rid of that entire section. So now, and again, you can just grab audio and move it around, but if you do that, it doesn't take the locator. So for now, we're going to just focus on that. Now the thing is that if you listen, there's a part of the verse where the vocals comes in early. So what we can do is grab that verse part and drag the audio over. I don't know how much we're going to need. Let's listen. Cool. So that's how you fix issues when you need to get a little bit. Maybe there's a fill before that you want to use. Just drag audio. Cool. Basically, that's the process for the rest of the edit. Even cutting out that section, it's still about 10 minutes. So at this point, you can start grabbing parts and rearranging it. And since I've named all the different parts, I'm not going to really worry about these locators up here at this point because I want to be able to just try different things. So all this stuff after the chorus, as you can hear. So if I were to just, like, say, move this here, it would cut off. But I wonder, now if I took this after chorus,
It's been a long time coming, and I want to sit down and talk to you for a minute.
cool, I've been feeling that.
Something has to happen about you and I. Can't let you go. But you know what? The only reason I keep feels real good. Then what?
See, the thing about Loleatta will talk and talk. Let's say that's even too much. You just want to... The most important thing when you're editing is making sure the clips flow together. Like, I like how this part has the... So you kind of get a little better transition. Cool. So, you know, we've discarded these parts up here. So let's say that we have the edit that we want now. And we've listened to it. So we took an 11-minute track and turned it into basically a 5-minute edit that still has all the verses and choruses and a lot of Loleatta's ad-libs. So we're going to select the last clip and the first clip, hit Command L, and that's going to create this loop. And then from there, we want to export it. So you want to hit Shift, Command, R, and it brings up this box. Now you want to make sure that Normalize is on. And if you want a wave, make sure you hit Encode PCM. And if you want an MP3, you turn that on. And then you hit Export. And then where do you want it? I'm going to do tutorials, hit save, and then it's going to export your audio. You know, and that's pretty much my process for making edits. Now, depending on your proficiency, you can add extra drums and extra sounds to make it even more unique, but that's a whole other video. And now we're going to go a little bit into how to do the same process with stems. Yeah, I know. This tutorial has more outfit changes than a Cher concert. So the next way you can make edits is by using stems. And it's not dissimilar to the way DJ software does it, but I use a dedicated app that lets me get a little deeper into the stem creation and editing process, and I do have a separate video for that. So making edits from stems is pretty much the same as with a stereo track, except that you have more creative control since you have the separate stems. For instance, the original intro with music, I can just cut the music section or select it and hit 0, which will mute it. So if you listen... So if I want to get rid of that music, I just select that part of the music, hit 0. Now I can leave the vocals, because the vocals don't really bother me in this. So once again, hitting that 0, turn it on. You know, another thing about working with stems is that you can mute parts of the vocal. And since this track is heavy on vocals, if you look at the vocal stem, you see there's not a lot of breaks in the vocal. So you can make an instrumental section that you wouldn't have been able to with the stereo master. And of course, this works with all the different stems. So let's say you like this part. You can select the vocal clip and hit it. So now you have an instrumental section that if you wanted to move somewhere, you could do that. And once again, it works, like I said, with anything. So you have a lot more creative, possibilities by using stems. And one of the cooler things about working with stems is that it makes redrumming a breeze. And what redrumming is adding new drums or enhancing the drums. So if you've heard a country record with hip hop drums, that's a redrum. And in this, you can simply mute the drum stem and replace it with your own loops or a different drum stem. And it allows you to further tailor the track to your needs while maintaining the music and vocals. So let's take the chorus, for example, loop it. So if I mute the drum stem, I can bring in, say, this drum loop. And with Ableton, it makes it easier if I want to just lower the BPM, like say from 124 to 118. There you have it. So thanks for checking out this tutorial. If you found it helpful, consider subscribing to the channel. If there's something in particular you would like to see covered, send me a message. Cheers.